Hello, I'm Charlene of the Rainbow Frequency, and this message today is dedicated to my friend Catherine, who, what feels now like a while ago, asked me to share more about my story and how I got to be here where we are, on YouTube and whatnot, exposing all the things about me and my beliefs and abilities, yada yada. So I've been preparing for this for a while, but there are only bullet points that I know I'm supposed to touch on. So I'm going to just channel, and hopefully it's articulate and understandable for everyone. So, let's see. Let's start at best at the beginning, and we'll work forward. I was born into a family that had a slew of mental illnesses, addressed and unaddressed. And that led to me becoming a person that was really able to read the room. Perhaps I was born with these gifts so that I could best survive, is another way to think of it. But I could really feel what people were feeling. At a young age, I really could tell what people liked about me, so then I started to really cater to individuals as such. Luckily for me, I have a lot of Aquarius in my chart, a little bit of rebellion. So as I grew, I became very annoyed at this process that I was doing for people, and then I just decided enough is enough. They can like me or not like me to a certain degree. I mean, I've still had to work through people pleasing in other aspects, but at home at least, I kind of was just like, forget it, like, if I'm not perfect, they're gonna have to deal with it, which was really, really healthy. Anywho, but then sadly, not sadly, we'll take that back. I mean, we all go through what we have to go through to help mold and shape us for the path that we're on. So, anywho, one of the first times I'm cognizant of having channeled, in 8th grade, it was the first time I had ever gotten drunk. I and a friend went a little buck wild. We drank my dad's Ballantine scotch, followed by Fighting Cock whiskey, let's see, there was something else. There were other things. I mean, there's so much that we put into our bodies. Anyway, so then in that whole hot mess, surprise, surprise, like I wound up like having dinner with my parents. I managed to eat salad, and then it came to the Spanish pork chops, which I've never liked, and then all of a sudden I ran to the bathroom and hurled. And then the tears ensued. And then the next thing I know, I'm like talking and saying that I was feeling suicidal. And I mean, if I hadn't been drunk, I would have been shocked to hell because I've never really felt suicidal ever. But I was channeling someone else's feelings. At 15, I turned to starting to go into divination, which my parents freaked out. I grew up in Lynchburg, Virginia, and my parents were fairly conservative, even though we weren't originally from there. I wasn't prior to that, allowed to watch Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon, because of its satanic possibilities. So, anywho, what they didn't realize was that divination for me was my way of connecting to God or source or my higher consciousness, and it really helped me keep hope in my life, and direction. Anywho, going forward, we'll fast forward then to, actually we'll backtrack. So my entire life, from a young child, like I remember seeing the cartoon He-Man and wanting to be the sorceress on top of that mountain. Like that to me was the ultimate. Then there's this movie, The Boy Who Befriended the Badger, I believe it was called. It was a little boy who was an outcast and bullied. He discovers this badger that these other kids have been hurting, and he saves it. Doesn't know what to do, so he winds up going to this woman that everyone thought was a witch, and she was a healer, and she helped him rehabilitate the animal and kind of find himself in the process. And that again was my end game. I was like, I want to be that woman out in the middle of nowhere that people go to for help. Yes. I tried so hard to wiggle my nose like Bewitched. I tried to astrally project again in 8th grade. Thought this was normal. This is what people do. Some people, yeah. But not all the people. Anywho. So it was this side of myself that was very private, that I didn't feel like I could share with many people, for fear of ostracization or ostracization. I can't speak. Anyway, being shunned. So then, I moved from Lynchburg to Richmond. It was quite a bit of a mess trying to figure it all out, throughout my teens to 20s. Then I became friends with some people who took me to the Heritage bookshop, or it was in Virginia Beach, and it was this amazing health food store on one floor and gift shop with metaphysical-y things, crystals, oh my god. And then upstairs were different services, psychic people to talk to, just a bunch of cool stuff that I was like, yes, what is this world? I'm so into it, but felt outside looking in. So I remember in my 20s, I felt very, very lost for direction. Eventually I found doing hair, which fulfilled the need to a certain extent. It's helping people, it's helping empower people. So it fit the bill for quite a while, 20 years or so. Anyway, I remember in my 20s though, I went to see this woman for a reading, and she told me that I was going to be a shaman. And I remember looking at her like, wow, well that's really fucking cool, pardon my French. I don't know that I'm that great, at least not yet. Let's pause. I was 20 something, so I was just like, in my mind, I always said we're not going to worry about spirituality, religion, we're just going to live, and then when we're older, we'll go into that. Luckily, 40, not but so old, So anywho, I'm going to say that 19,000 times. We'll bring the little owl, so every time I say anywho, whoo, crazy, wild. Anyway, anywho, I said no. I was just like, pause. Nah, not me, or at least not yet. I mean, we'll see, that kind of thing. So then, fast forward to a little while ago. I suppose it was about 1.5 to 2 years ago, I remember one morning my husband sent me this article about this journalist who was writing about seances. And I remember being like, why the hell is he sending me this? Like, I don't want to do a seance. Like, that isn't my cup of tea. I was absolutely 100,000% like not into ghosts, wouldn't even discuss it. Didn't like aliens, didn't want to watch anything to do with that. Like, really could hardly watch anything in space because the movie Apollo 13 as a kid, like, really, that sense of feeling trapped in space, great anxiety, which is hilarious because fast forward now, I'm a medium who channels information from various realms of energy. So sometimes it's our very fears that we need to face that are our true gifts. So in that article, I kind of had this feeling, like, little footnote. As a hairstylist, I kind of realized I was channeling messages for my clients. Then I started noticing different psychic abilities. We've touched on this before, like knowing when clients were going to cancel or various things. So then in that article, I was just like, holy crap. Like, I have a person in my life that, should they pass and be able to get at me on that plane, we're not having that. Absolutely not. So that was my moment of like, we're going to harness this, learn what we're doing so that we can really have autonomy or boundaries, healthy boundaries for what we will and won't allow in our lives to come in through channeling, all of the above. So then that started me off on my path to learn Reiki, which I discovered my Reiki teacher, Reiki Dreams, Sarah Tilsley, sorry, dyslexia. And I remember I probably sounded interesting, where I was just like, I think I knew Reiki and I need to relearn it, because I previously had an experience where I was getting Reiki and she'd helped me quite a bit. And then at the last visit with her, I felt like she needed it more than I did, and I wound up giving it back to her, which shocked us both. So I went to Sarah and I started on my path to Reiki. I also started meditating, which for me was instantly like, holy shit, what is coming in? What does a wing with eggs mean? Like, what are all these symbols? I felt like Alice having fallen down a rabbit hole on substances I didn't even know existed, and my brain would break every other moment. It felt like expanding. And then it was crazy because in my meditations, these guides would come in and I'd be like, what are you doing here? Like, like seriously, I'd be meditating and then my shamanic ancestors would come. And I literally was like, I'm learning Reiki. I don't have the money and attention span to absorb but so much information. Like, come on, people. Reiki. We're doing Reiki. And I was, go away. Like, Reiki. They came back. They painted my face. They gave me my tools. They, all sorts of stuff. And I was just like, no, I'm not a shaman. I'm doing Reiki. And then I discovered this book. Reiki is a form of shamanism. Holy crap! Drop the book. I can be so obtuse. I also had a Tibetan monk guide come through. And I'm like, why are you here? I'm not Tibetan. Like, what? And then send him away. And then he'd come back, so patient. Why are you here? Again, like, we don't pick and choose our guides. We don't always know the reasons why the path has chosen us either, right? So I will say part of why I kept shoving this stuff away was the fear of cultural appropriation, you know, which shamanism has been present everywhere, not just in South America, not just in one place. It's been everywhere. The totemic religions, shamanism, was the origin for how it all then progressed, which some people may or may not like. Sorry, but you don't have to like what I say. They're my words. But for those of you who this resonates, it's for you. And then it's funny, I will tell you the best bit of advice, knowing yourself is the largest part of the puzzle to then understanding the rest of the external, I feel. So I highly recommend, if you don't know your lineage, look into your DNA, because that was my first step. Like, I had been getting sick, or I thought perhaps I was celiac, so then I got a DNA test to look into that. And that was the first unraveling of the yarn ball, and now I feel like a kitten with like all these strings, and I'm, whoa, what do we do with all the strings? But that's where I realized, like, I wasn't this limited scope of a sort of person that I thought I was. I mean, I have just about an entire world's worth of DNA, some of it higher percentages than others, but to me, each of them are equally important. It doesn't matter if it's a 0.1% or if it's 57%. They're all vital players on the playing field for me. I found that my DNA could be traced back to Neanderthal times. That, to me, was so exciting, and then I channel this song later where I am she, she is me, we rose up from the sea. In the cauldron we were made to do the job that spirit bade. Of the elements we were derived to ensure that man survived. We are here to heal the earth, to bring back love, joy, and mirth. I've been here since the dawn of time, reincarnating over and over to help be a way shower, to help people heal, accept themselves so that they can evolve to the best version of themselves, to raise consciousness. And, at one point I talked with a woman much older than me, so wise, but she chastised me a little at feeling the need to heal the earth. And she said, Charlene, the earth is X amount of years old. Like, why do you feel the need to do anything for the earth? Like, basically, like, you're so young, like, the earth doesn't require that from you. And no, that might be true for others. It isn't true for me. I am here to help heal the earth. I put a lot of my attention as a gardener into it on the physical, human level plane. Metaphysically, in my meditation, I put a lot of that energy into helping the earth heal, and then going from that outward, ripple effect to heal the entire universe, and then from there, each extenuating universe, dimension, every which way in time. because I believe in quantum physics. I believe in healing timelines. So, I have now come to the place where I accept that I'm a shaman. You know, there are those out there that will tell you that you have to do it a certain way. You have to spend a certain amount of money to become one. You have to go to an older shaman to be initiated. That might not be true for you. They came to me. And I am sorry to them that I kept pushing them away. So this is for all of you out there that feel called to something, but then don't feel like it's yours, you deserve it, any reason whatsoever. I'm here to tell you, don't waste your time. What's in your heart and soul is there to be acknowledged, accepted, and worked with for the highest good of all. It's through healing ourselves that we heal the earth, the world, the universe at large. It's by choosing to create our own heaven on earth within ourselves to manifest that environment that we crave, that we long for right now, here, that will make the difference. I hope you enjoyed this transmission. All my love, best wishes, be well holistically on every single level, your physical, your energetic, and your etheric or auric field. We are not one level beings. Have a great day.